Good afternoon, IACP first-time attendees. At the time of this recording, we're less than 3 weeks away from the conference. I'm IACP Deputy Executive Director Terry Cunningham, and I'm accompanied by Gene Voigtman, IACP Director of Strategic Communications and Outreach. Gene's team is responsible for the logistics of the annual conference. Our agenda for today's webinar will cover some of the basics for attending the 2018 IACP Annual Conference for the first time. There will also be an on-site first-timers orientation on Saturday, October 6th, 2018 at 7:30 a.m. in room W109A. That's room W109A at 7:30 on Saturday, October 6th. That's level 1 at the Orange County Convention Center. This webinar is being recorded and will be posted online if you'd like to reference what we covered today. If you have any questions, please feel free to email us at info@theiacp.org. That's info@theiacp.org.
All right, thank you, Terry, and good afternoon, everyone. As we go through the agenda of today's meeting, we'll be covering a number of areas, including the logistics for getting into the convention center, travel throughout Orlando, an overview of the schedule for the meeting, some of the education sessions we have, special events, the exposition hall, networking opportunities, and various other special events throughout the week. But first and foremost, as a first-time attendee, probably the single most important thing you can do in order to get ready for the annual conference is to download the 2018 IACP Conference mobile app. If you go to the App Store or the Google Play and search IACP events, and you'll be able to download the app. And on that app, you can find out information about the education sessions. It'll include handouts from the educational sessions. We'll also have speaker bios. It will allow you to create your own schedule. It will allow you to find exhibitors in the expo hall as you tour it to look at the various solutions they can provide you. It will also help you keep track of where the various shuttle buses are that are moving between the conference hotels and the conference center. And if you need any help downloading the app on site, you can find IACP staff at the hub within the expo hall and IACP Central within the convention center. So just a few notes on logistics for the center. So unless otherwise noted in the program or on the app, all events will be taking place at the Orange County Convention Center in the West Building. Again, that's the Orange County Convention Center in the West Building. Just a word of caution, the Orange County Convention Center is very large. They have several buildings. So just don't ask somebody where the Orange County Convention Center is. Be sure to specify the West Building of the Convention Center. As noted, we have a series of shuttle buses that will run from IACP conference hotels to the IACP Convention Center and also to other events throughout the conference, including Chiefs Night and the annual banquet. The shuttles will run every 20 minutes to and from the hotels to the convention center. The last shuttle will depart hotels at 5:30 p.m. And the convention center shuttles begin on Friday, October 5th. They run from 1 to 6. And then from Saturday to Tuesday, they run from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. On Monday, which is Chiefs Night at Universal Studios, the shuttles will run from 6:30 p.m. to 9 p.m. and then back from the event to the hotel starting at 9 p.m. and ending at 11:30 p.m. And the annual banquet shuttles, which is on Tuesday evening, will go from the hotels to the center between 5:30 and 6:30 and return between 10 p.m. and 11:15. Now, an important thing to remember as you get on site and you enter the Orange County Convention Center, we will have the convention center secured. So in order to enter the center, you will need some of the following information. You will need to either have your IACP 2018 registration confirmation email, your IACP membership card, or your law enforcement badge. As I said, there will be security checkpoints and bag checks. But once you enter the center, you'll be able to pick up your conference badge, where you'll need to show a photo ID. And if you want to speed up the check-in process, you can just print out an e-badge confirmation from your email and bring that with you. One other note, if for some reason you get to the convention center and you do not have the necessary identification, you will still be able to enter the center, but you will have to go through a somewhat more extensive security check-in process, somewhat similar to going through the check-in line at an airport. And once you are in the center and checked in, you will need to wear your IACP credentials at any time you're in the convention center, so that the security folks that we have stationed throughout the center know that you're eligible to be on site and be at the meetings and attend the workshops and general assemblies. So we will have registration hours beginning on Thursday, October 4th. And they begin at 8 a.m. and they go to 5 p.m. for e-badge. Again on Friday, October 5th, 7:30 to 6 p.m. and for e-badge, and regular registration for attendees opens at 1 o'clock on Friday afternoon and runs till 6. On Saturday, October 6th, it will begin at 7 a.m. and run till 5:30. Sunday has the same hours of 7 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. as do Monday, 7:30 to 5:30. And then finally, Tuesday, registration will be open from 7:30 to 3:30 p.m. So briefly, those are the logistics for getting into the center. As I said, the center will be secured, and we'll have security on site, so wearing the conference credentials at all times for IACP events is going to be essential. Now, briefly, just to give you an overview of the 4 days of the annual conference. Obviously, it begins Saturday morning and goes through Tuesday afternoon. For the most part, the days follow a similar schedule. We have workshops and committee meetings running throughout the day from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. on some days. We have on some days we have certain general assemblies, opening ceremonies, general sessions, critical issues forums, and other special events. But the general schedule overall for the convention center is 8 a.m. to about 5 p.m. each day. So there are plenty of opportunities both in the educational workshops, the committee meetings, and also the exposition hall floor. I'm going to talk briefly about the educational sessions. Then I'm going to turn to Terry to give his views as a former attendee and consumer of the workshops, as well as leading the sessions in times. As I said, the sessions go from Saturday, October 6th through Tuesday, October 9th till 4:30. There will be over 250 sessions to choose from, and we will be recording some sessions during the conference, and those will be available on the IACP members only website after the conference. We also will be having, which is new this year, an IACP speaker series. We'll have several individuals that will be giving one-on-one presentations. Most notably, we'll have the FBI Director, Christopher Wray, speaking on Sunday, October 7th from 10 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. And that will be in the Chapin Theater on level 3 of the Convention Center. Again, that's Sunday, October 7th from 10 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. In the Chapin Theater. We'll also be holding a session on our Global Perspective series, looking at the issues related to the Me Too movement, what this means to the workplace, and how law enforcement can help lead the way. That will be Tuesday, October 9th from 1:30 to 3 p.m., again in the Chapin Theater on level 3. So, Terry, any thoughts on the education sessions and how attendees can get the most out of them?
Sure, thanks, Gene. As Gene mentioned in his opening comments, probably one of the most important things you can do is to download the app. Once you've downloaded the app, then you can search. You can search actually by instructor's name. You can search by category of the type of workshop that you'd like to attend. Essentially, we have the most cutting-edge workshops on everything to deal with contemporary policing issues covered, with over, as you mentioned, Gene, over 250 sessions, everything from leadership to drones to the opioid epidemic that we're seeing here. So anything that would interest you on contemporary policing issues, I'm sure that you'll find a session that you'd like to go and see it covered. The other thing that the app helps you do is it also helps you, probably the most difficult choices you're going to have are you're going to have competing educational opportunities. So You really need to sit down, take a look at what you want to attend ahead of time. You can also, there's an opportunity for you to enter in a friend or friends that are attending the conference where you can add them into your schedule as well so they can see what events that you're attending that they may want to attend as well. So great opportunities from some of the best workshops covering all aspects of policing.
And one other point on the workshops, the workshops have a variety of, the duration of the workshops come in a variety of times, hour, hour and a half. We even have what we call some quick hit workshops, which are, 20, 30-minute presentations that are kind of counter-programmed to the start times of the regular workshops. So if for some reason you're unable to make the beginning time of one workshop, there's still an opportunity for you to find an educational session that's just beginning as you find yourself available. We will also have educational opportunities on the exposition hall floor, so we try our best to make sure that there's always an opportunity for the membership and the attendees of the conference to help further their professional knowledge throughout the 4 days that we're on site. One thing we do want to discuss is how you're able to pick up the certificates for the workshops, the educational certificates. So the key thing to do is to have your badge scanned as you enter into the workshop. There will be staff on site that will be there with scanning machines that will be able to scan the barcode. And then you'll be able to go to the workshop certificate desk, which is going to be located outside of West Hall A3, which is on level 2. And you'll be able to view, edit, print, or email copies of your workshop certificates. That'll be open from Saturday at 7:30 a.m. to Tuesday at 4:30 p.m. And again, it's located outside of West Hall, room A3, level 2. One item that is new this year, in order to allow IACP to improve our educational offerings and the overall conference experience, at the front end of picking up your workshop certificates, you'll be asked to fill out a short 5-question survey rating the workshop and the presentation and the topic so that we can help build better educational programs in the future. So as I said, you will be able to, we will also be sending out a link to all attendees 1 week after the annual conference to receive their certificates and also complete the survey. So if you're not able to do it on site, you can also look for that email 1 week following the annual conference.
Gene, if I could just go back to the workshops for a minute, a couple of popular topics that I didn't cover that you're going to see in some of the workshops this year are going to be learning lessons from school attacks that almost happened, and that's going to be on Saturday at 8 a.m., which I think is going to be of a great interest. I'm sure will fill the room. Also, police recruitment and retention. It's Everyone's Job, presented by Gordon Graham on Tuesday at 8 a.m. And then Officer Down, how smaller agencies can manage critical incidents and ensure psychological survival on Saturday morning at 8 a.m.
Great. Thank you, Terry. Also, just to talk briefly about some of the general assemblies, these are the larger gatherings of the attendees at the conference that will take place. There are 3 main General Assembly events. One is the opening ceremony on Saturday afternoon. It will be from 3:30 to 5 p.m. in the Valencia Ballroom. It will feature speakers from various constituencies, including the Orlando Police Department, where Chief Mina will be talking about the effect and impact of the Pulse nightclub shooting and its impact on his community and officers in the time that has followed the event itself. We will also be dealing with various IACP issues related to the elections of officers for the executive board of the following year, and again providing additional information on the conference and opportunities for the membership. On Monday, we have a General Assembly from 10 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. This General Assembly will feature a presentation on leadership from General Stanley McChrystal, which will build upon his career in the military and the lessons that he's taken away on how to lead teams and how to better improve organizations that he's built up over the years. It should be a great event for all attendees. And on Tuesday, October 9th, from 10 a.m. to 11:30, We'll be having a critical issues forum, which will be a panel discussion focused around the recent efforts in reform in law enforcement and where we stand now after several years of reform efforts. Is law enforcement in a better place? Has it been helpful? Has it been hurtful? And what steps should we be taking next? What impacts have we had? And what are the best? What's the best path to move forward? This will feature a variety of speakers, both from the law enforcement community, from some from the academic and federal agency perspective, as well as authors and lecturers who address policing issues in the past. It will be hosted by a CNN anchor who will help be leading the discussion. So it promises to be an interesting discussion, and I urge you all to attend. Just a few other special events to go into. Some of these require an additional ticket, which can be purchased in the registration area. But again, they're all worthwhile events. The first is our Foundation Gala, which will be held Saturday on October 6th from 6:30 p.m. to 10 p.m. It's being held at the Hyatt Regency Orlando, which is directly across the street from the Convention Center. At this event, the IACP Foundation honors the Police Officer of the Year finalists, and the winner of the IACP Target Police Officer of the Year Award is announced. Again, this is one of the events that requires a separate ticket to be purchased. On Sunday, October 7th, there will be a ribbon cutting ceremony to open the exposition hall. That will be from 9:45 to 10 a.m. It will feature addresses from the mayor of Orlando and other special guests. And it's also the first time the attendees will have the opportunity to visit the exhibit hall floor, which of course is a fantastic opportunity to look at over 650 vendors who are on there to help you develop solutions for different problems and situations that face your agencies. That will be held in the lobby between West Halls A4 and B1 on level 2. You should be able to find it fairly easily because it will be pre-event entertainment, which will be noticeable and loud that morning. I think probably one of the key events to any IACP annual conference is always our Chiefs Night event. This is held on Monday night, October 8th. It'll be from 7:30 p.m. to 11 p.m. at Universal Studios, Florida. IACP will be the sole organization in the park that evening, so only IACP members and registered guests will be in the park that evening. So the entire park is for our attendees for that entire evening. It should be a great opportunity. Food, drink, and all the rides and other attractions at Universal are available at no charge to the ISP attendees. So we are looking forward to it. It's always Chiefs Night is always an exciting event, but I think this one has the opportunity to be unique. Given the October start date, one addition to Chiefs Night this year is the inclusion of 2 haunted houses that Universal Studios puts on each year. These are well done, high quality, quite imaginative haunted houses that they put on. I would advise no one to bring a firearm to these events because they are the kind of haunted houses where people will jump out and startle you. And finally, the annual banquet is held on Tuesday, October 9th from 6 p.m. to 11 p.m. in the Valencia Ballroom. So this is the ballroom where the opening ceremonies and the General Assembly is held. At this banquet, we both honor the IACP Leadership Award winners as well as swear in the incoming executive board for the 2018-2019 year. And again, this is something that requires a separate ticket, but that can also be purchased at registration. Terry, anything related to Chiefs Nights in the past or the annual banquet?
Well, I would say the annual banquet this year, we're going to try and do it a little bit differently. So when we start the entertainment this year, we're actually going to have dueling pianos.
Oh.
So I think it should be a little different than our usual DJ.
Yeah, it should be exciting. So some other special events that are put on at the annual conference, but not by the IACP. So the conference would not be possible, of course, without the assistance of law enforcement in Central Florida, especially that of the Orlando Police Department and the Orange County Sheriff's Department. The Orlando Police Department has a series of special events. These are separate ticket required events that help support the costs both incurred by Orlando PD and working with IACP, but also help support their department and their foundation. As you can see on the screen, they have a website, www.strengthenorlando.org/IACP. They have 3 events. They do a motorcycle ride that will go to the Kennedy Space Center. That is on Saturday, October 6th at 7 a.m. I believe they work with local Harley-Davidson dealers in Central Florida to help acquire rental motorcycles for participants to do, and I think there are some special events along the way, both to the Space Center and at the Space Center itself. There is a 5K race through Universal Studios on Sunday morning, October 7th at 6:30 a.m. And then finally on Sunday, October 7th at Disney's Magnolia Golf Course, there's a golf tournament that begins at 8:30 with a shotgun start. Unfortunately, neither Terry or I will be participating in any of those events because we, along with the rest of the ISB staff, will be there to make sure that you're having a great time at the conference.
That's right. We have too much business to attend to.
Exactly. But we encourage you to do so. And finally, just a few other items. Of course, as we mentioned earlier, a key part of this is the exposition hall at the annual conference. It opens again, as I said, Sunday at 10 a.m. And it goes through Tuesday, October 9th. On Sunday and Monday, it's open from 10 to 5 p.m. with a networking event on the expo hall floor on Sunday night, and then goes from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. on Tuesday. There'll be over 650 exhibitors, and also when the exhibit hall opens, you'll realize that the exhibit hall floor is where most of the vendors and concessionaires are available for food purchase, for lunch and coffee and other things within the convention center. There are probably a couple other items in the expo hall floor to look for. We have set up a relaxation zone, which gives you an opportunity as you walk through the center and attend the classes and everything to take a few minutes break, get off your feet, and recharge as you're moving through the expo hall. There's also, as I mentioned briefly earlier, the Solutions Presentation Theater, which is where a variety of corporations and other law enforcement supporters have the opportunity to present new approaches to dealing with law enforcement issues and situations. And finally, we have an entertainment zone on the show floor, which will allow you to catch up with both the news of the day, and I believe on Sunday we'll also be broadcasting that day's NFL action for those that are interested. And then a key component of the expo hall floor is the hub. The hub is really the IACP showcase for the annual conference, and it's also an area where members have the opportunity to participate in a number of activities that can help further their professional career. We have an opportunity to conduct media training. There are mock interviews, resume reviews. We also have the opportunity to meet with other ICP members who are interested in similar topics. There's plenty of education and resources from the IACP. We also will be doing professional photographs, professional headshots for those members that need one or need to update one that they have. And there are many other opportunities throughout the conference as well at the hub. And that, again, is located in the center of the exhibit hall floor.
Gene, just before you continue, I just want to go back on the exposition hall. For folks that have never attended an IACP conference before, it can actually be pretty overwhelming when you get out on the expo hall floor and you see the number and the variety of vendors that are there. Everything from software applications to mobile command posts to firearms, soft body armor, helicopters, airships, I mean, drones, you name it. I mean, there's everything and anything that you can imagine as a police executive that you may have an interest in out there on the expo hall floor. So as you make your way through the exposition hall, if you see something that interests you, all you need to do is ask the vendor to scan your tag, and then they'll just send you information, back at your agency when you get back from the conference. If you don't have time to stand there and have a conversation with them. So it's pretty overwhelming when you see the number of vendors and the variety of vendors and opportunities that are there. So aside from the level of the workshops that we have, probably the other issue or the other thing that folks go to see is just to go to the floor.
Yeah, it truly is a remarkable sight when you see it for the first time.
Yeah.
So just as another key component of any ISP annual conferences are the networking opportunities. It's as Terry mentioned earlier, that you have the opportunity to connect via the app with friends and colleagues that are already attending the conference. But there are also plenty of opportunities, I think, as you go through the workshops, go through the committee meetings, to meet up with and discuss issues with individuals that are in a similarly situated organization to what you may be leading or you may be dealing with. I think that's one of the things that makes the ISP conference unique, is that there are so many attendees, and it covers so many different aspects of policing that there's almost always another chief that's dealing with an issue, or another leader, I should say, that's dealing with issues or concerns similar to what you're dealing with. And I think one of the things that we always hear about from our attendees, especially at the workshops, is that it's refreshing to be in a room full of chiefs talking about issues that, I should say, chiefs and leaders that are that everyone in the room has faced and understands, because it's a unique audience. These educational workshops are designed for law enforcement, by law enforcement in many cases. So it's the networking opportunities continue throughout the conference. IACP committee meetings, you do not need to be a member of the committee in order to attend a committee meeting. They are open to all members. So if you're interested in the topic of one of the ISP committee meetings, if you look on the schedule and you see one that you want to attend, you are more than welcome to attend those committees. As mentioned earlier, there will be a networking reception on the exhibit hall floor on Sunday, October 7th, from 3:30 to 5 p.m. in the expo hall. This will give everyone the opportunity to have some refreshment, visit the vendors, and meet with their colleagues as the conference is really getting into full swing at that point. And finally, one thing to talk about as you get to the annual conference. The convention center is a large place, and you will be doing a lot of walking. It goes without saying that after 4 days, you will rack up a lot of steps. So we've kind of taken advantage of just the mere fact that that's a part of any annual conference. And we have the IACP 2018 Conference Walking Challenge. It begins Saturday, October 6th at 7:30, and it goes through Tuesday, October 9th at 4:30. You can download the app to track your steps. And the leaderboard will be positioned daily at the hub and ISP Central or on the app itself. And there will be prizes for those of you who surpass 80,000 steps. And there will also be daily drawings throughout the conference. It's one of our ways to help support officer wellness, and it's a friendly competition. So we hope you'll all take advantage of it. You're going to be close to 80,000 steps anyway, so I encourage everyone to do it because there's that much to see and do at the annual conference. You'll be moving around quite a lot. So again, as we wrap up here, I would think the things to remember, to pay attention to, and I think are the key takeaways. Make sure you download the ICP Events app and the ICP 2018 Annual Conference app from the App Store or Google Play. In the next 2 weeks, you should be receiving several emails related to the conference. One will be the hotel confirmation from your conference hotel, your registration confirmation from Experian, which is our registration provider, And you should also be receiving a Know Before You Go email from IACP, which will include important reminders and, again, just a recap of the security information. And one other point I'd like to stress about the app, there are a lot of moving pieces at this annual conference, and the schedule is always subject to change depending on attendees, speakers, and other opportunities. So the conference app is the best way to stay on top of any developments that happen on site. We will be communicating with the membership primarily through the app on site because it's the best way to get our message out. So if anything changes during the show, the app is the most updated resource that we will have. And again, for those of you that did not get enough in this webinar, we will be doing this orientation again live on Saturday, October 6th at 7:30 a.m. In the Convention Center, and we'll be glad to answer any questions. And again, after you view this webinar, if you still have any questions, please feel free to email us at info@iacp.org. Again, that's info, I-N-F-O, at THEIACP.org.
Yes, just as we start to wrap up here, Gene, a couple things I want to follow up on. One is when you talked about the networking opportunities. I know that the FBI National Academy, they have an opportunity for folks to get together, networking reception one evening, so you'll see a lot of your classmates there. I've heard the IACP conference described as a three-legged stool. The first leg of the stool are the workshops, the second leg is the expo hall, and the third leg is networking. You want to try and make sure that you balance all three of those, because you could clearly spend all your time networking and not make any of the workshops or the expo hall. So I think it's important it's important that you do take the time to do all three. Also, one of the things that we failed to talk about was that we will have voting open on Monday, October 8th from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. in the West A lobby on level 1 across from the registration desk. It's important that folks that are IACP members and eligible to vote, that they come and they vote for the constitutional amendments that will be on the ballot. And other than that, I would just say that be prepared to walk a lot, as Gene mentioned. Come and have a fantastic time. Bring your family with you.
Yeah. Looking forward to seeing anybody. And again, if you have any questions, please email us at info@theiacp.org.